All right, we just checked out Borderlands, the pre-sequel. We are with the makers of the game, and this is a really interesting game because we got this great villain in Borderlands 2 of Handsome Jack, and it was a shame to not go back to him, so fuck it, let's go back to him.
I mean, God forbid that we move forward. We're obviously going to do something crazy like a game called The-Presequel, right? But yeah, this is really a great opportunity for us to tell a little more about Handsome Jack. We kind of teased out what was going on with him through the Echo collections that you could do in Borderlands 2, but there was actually a lot of fan curiosity about like who he was, where he came from, and we have an opportunity to tell the story with a really talented team at 2K Australia who knows a thing or two about making games because they've been a big part of the BioShock franchise. So yeah, we in Borderlands: The-Presequel, we're telling the story of like how Handsome Jack came into power, and also kind of like why he's such a bastard in Borderlands 2.
How did a nerdy programmer turn into a megalomaniac of epic proportions and a huge narcissist, among other things?
You'll find out, but it has been really fun for our writers to kind of think of what kind of events could actually cause Jack to go from that guy who's just working on a computer, he's worrying about the company, he's trying to finish that Helios space station, to the guy that scoops people's eyeballs out in Borderlands 2. And there are some pretty serious events that you can imagine that could cause a man to change like that. And it's a serious story, but it's kind of wrapped in that Borderlands humor, so it makes it easier to digest.
All right, yeah, I was about to ask, Borderlands is famous for its sense of humor, and that's a very serious thing, seeing a man warped and twisted into something awful. So there we have that. So are the 4 players that are available, they're helping Jack because he's the good guy, but not just in his own mind?
Yeah, Jack has recruited some people that you're going to be playing as. Obviously, Wilhelm and Athena are the 2 that we're focusing on right now. And Helios, which is the moonshot facility, gets attacked by someone, and you get kicked off of it, which in its own way, obviously sucks. But what's really bad is that they're trying to use that facility to destroy the moon. And Jack's actually trying to save the moon because there's innocent people on there. He's actually trying to do the right thing. I know. But like he's really trying to be the good guy, and then there's just these really intense moments that are going to occur that are going to put him in some extreme situations that will, kind of help explain like why he's so crazy in Borderlands 2.
Interesting. So in terms of gameplay elements, we have a lot of the guns upon guns upon guns upon guns upon guns, but we also have some interesting physics involved with being on the moon and also requiring oxygen to breathe. Silly thing. Could you talk about the differences in the gameplay and the battle?
Yeah, totally. When we made the decision to go to the moon, we knew that we had these moon promises that people would expect. And the first thing that we knew they would expect is low gravity. And the second one is an oxygen system, low atmosphere. Now, low gravity allows players to jump higher, to jump further, really to traverse maps much, much faster. And combined with the oxygen system, you can actually vent oxygen to boost yourself to do kind of like a double jump. You can go further or you can go higher. And this completely changes everything because the system goes across all of the enemies, and it fundamentally changed the way that we were going to build the levels because we made the maps bigger, not just by making them wider, but actually going up. Yeah. We have a lot more verticality, and players have to keep an eye out looking up, not just looking ahead for when enemies can pounce on them, because they can actually jump over you and invalidate your cover and then stomp down on you. But you can do the exact same thing. You can use the low gravity, jump, shoot them from above, you can even freeze them, and then stomp down and shatter them into a million pieces.
Yeah, combat itself is much more three-dimensional than it has been in the past, and it's really awesome because one of my favorite things to do is to kill the flying jetpack guys, but not by shooting, but actually by freezing them and then watching them fall to the ground and shatter. And you can do some really cool combos where you can use them as a weapon on scavs that are on the ground. So they come to the ground, they shatter on top of someone and do massive amounts of damage also, because they're basically doing a frozen slam.
That's gross, but thank you.
I thought you were going to say awesome.
Yeah, it's actually kind of beautiful because if you slam down on someone and shatter them when they're frozen, their ice particles drift off because there's low gravity.
Oh, no. Well, thanks for thinking of that. So in the previous games, we had different modes of transportation. We had bandits, we had bandit vehicles, and boats. Are we our own methods of transportation in this game?
No, this is a totally new game, and we knew to make a new Borderlands game, we had to have 4 new playable characters, we had to have new weapons, new elements, and we also have new vehicles. We're not really talking about them. There was a bit of a tease in the trailer we just released of the Stingray, but we're not quite showing them off yet.
All right, just continue with that. Yes, and they also wouldn't show me Claptrap. It's just one big tease here.
Yeah, sorry, but I mean, that's actually been one of my favorite questions from people is like, well, what's your favorite thing in the game? And I go, Claptrap. Can't talk about him yet. Womp womp. I mean, there's so much going on in the pre-sequel. Things like adding loot are really cool because we're doing things with the ice damage and the Oz kits. But I think just the fact that we're adding so many new layers to the way that the combat works is really cool. And it's something that we really hope that the fans appreciate, and that they enjoy it because, like, the slam attack is so powerful, and it's a great way to clear out enemies. You can, or if they're swarming, you can push them back so you can get ready to do, some kind of cool combo. We're modifying the playable characters' philosophy of how to design them to encourage even more co-op play than before. There's skills that will help them out, make them stronger, help you out. Some cool things that we're also kind of that we're just trying to explore with to encourage even more over-the-top gameplay than before.
Even more. Yeah. Joy puking.
Yes. Joy puking. Well, it was I think frown failure is another thing that we're warning people about.
All right. Oh, too bad. So in Borderlands 2, we saw a great expansion of the stories of the original Vault Hunters. Where are we with that in the pre-sequel? I mean, we haven't really been introduced to the second set of Vault Hunters yet, or have we?
Oh, yeah, we actually wanted to take the experience of playing as these Vault Hunters even further for telling their story. So we have a lot more unique interactions for them. Each Vault Hunter, they're individuals, and they're going to react differently to every single beat that happens in the story, everything that other playable characters say, side missions, everything. They're going to react differently in this game. We really expanded the VO system. So if you play through as Claptrap compared to Wilhelm, he's going to think about everything differently. So not only are you going to have different skills to experience different action abilities, but you're going to experience it from their perspective much more than in any previous Borderlands games.
Yeah, which is really cool because every playthrough will have its own experience. Athena will have her own reactions to what's going on. Wilhelm will have his own. They even have banter between each other. So another great reason to play co-op is that Wilhelm might say something in reaction to what Jack said, and then Athena might say something that's like, I don't agree with that at all, and they'll start to have this little argument, which is really neat because we're trying to make this as personal of an experience as possible.
Cool. I didn't know about that banter aspect, but I really enjoy that. That makes you endeared to the characters more and makes other events maybe even more heartbreaking. So how do you get bandits and psychos on the moon?
So we actually have completely new enemies up on the moon. We have completely new creatures. We have the Kraken, which you saw in the demo today, which is kind of this moon rock monster that absorbs elemental attributes. So the ones in this particular map have cryo methane power, so they can start to freeze you, but you can shatter them, and they actually become two little mini ones as you kill them. And sometimes we don't actually know how deep our designers make this happen. They're like the Russian nesting dolls, sort of. So they can just keep bursting out with even smaller versions that come and attack you.
So that's what happened. Okay.
But yeah, we have the Scavs. They're these ex-Dahl engineers who have been abandoned on the moon. And something funny that happened during the development of the game, back home in Australia, we put in our temporary dialogue just to help move the story forward and so we could make sense of it as we were playtesting it. And at a certain point, we thought it kind of worked. I mean, we're not on Pandora anymore. It's a completely new group of enemies, a new group of people up there on the moon, and they have their own culture. And by having Australians on the moon, it sounds kind of funny, but it felt right because they do have their own culture, they have their own humor, they have their own sayings and everything. So it's a completely new group of enemies, a new group of NPCs up there on the moon.
That's really cool. I didn't know that there were Australians on the Hyperion moon. But it's interesting that you said that there's former Dahl employees there, because I remember that during some of the Echo recordings, we had talked about the Dahl Corporation abandoning its employees, and now we're in Hyperion's mythology or mythos. Are we going to be exploring any of the other gun companies' backstories?
In this game, we're on the moon, which is Elpis, the moon of Pandora, and then eventually we get up to the Hyperion space station. Okay. So Dahl had a presence on the moon of these scientists, of these miners, but eventually they got abandoned. They kind of got stir crazy. You'll notice kind of the graffiti that they put around there, these mathematical formulas and constellations that are up there. And yeah, you're definitely going to be able to get up there and see kind of more of the Hyperion side of it on that space station later in the game too.
Very cool. Smart, crazy people. Wow. So for the original Borderlands, we got this iconic thing. And for the second one, we got. Where are we with the? What is this?
Well, of course, since it's Australia, he's going to be upside down.
Ah, okay, so I can't really recreate it unless
try.
I have a harness or anti-gravity.
I mean, if you could do like a really sweet handstand, you might be able to get like really close to it, but I wouldn't encourage it because that's a little dangerous.
I'm not really athletic and I'm more of a gamer, but yeah, sure. Okay, is there anything that you hope people take away from E3 about Borderlands, the pre-sequel, besides that you made up a word?
I hope they get really excited about the way that we're changing the combat system because there's just not that much time at these shows to really like digest everything. You have to move like really quickly. So we're like, by the way, you've got these powers, they do this, and we've got ice, it shatters stuff, and by the way, double jumps, and it's easy to miss bits of it and just go back to what you know because from Borderlands 1 and from Borderlands 2. But like the slam is this really powerful attack, and oxygen is not just this sort of secondary health thing that you have to worry about. It's actually a way to make you even stronger. And I really look forward to seeing the fans get to actually digest it and just see like just how powerful it is.
Very cool. So yeah, you're right. I didn't notice the oxygen part until way further on into my demo when I was nearly dead.
Yeah.
Why am I dying?
Yeah, but even the cool thing with that is all you gotta do is just get back some oxygen, and any damage that you took from not having O2, you get all that health back because we don't want to penalize the player for maybe getting too excited with their oxygen or being a little reckless.
Yeah, we want to make sure there's oxygen all over the place. Every enemy you kill is going to drop oxygen canisters. We have these geysers that vent oxygen out. We have these kind of natural jump pads as well, which shoot oxygen out. Because adding this verticality with the low gravity, being able to jump high, we have some really cool opportunities to put epic loot in hard to get places, and we do not want to punish people for wanting to explore.
Good, because I'm going to do that a lot.
We hope.
So tell the good people when they can get their hands on the pre-sequel.
Borderlands the Pre-Sequel comes out in North America on October 14, and it comes out everywhere else in the world on October 17.
And that is for Xbox 360, PS3, and for PC. I'm going to play. It's going to be great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.